What's going on, YouTube? Figured I'd give you a little update here. It's been actually probably a couple years since I did a video on trucking, and this one will be a little different. Had a video I talked to you guys about why I got into the dump truck business, and figured I'd kind of update that and give you guys some feedback and some of my experience. So quick update. I mean, I was up to 5 trucks right here. Now we're down to 3. So I've got my Peterbilt, old 379 that we completely rebuilt. It's not super pretty, but internally it's got all the good stuff. So I still got my Mack, which we are trying to sell, truck 2, and then I've got my Kenworth. So really the only reason I still have these trucks is because I own them outright. I don't have payments on them, and you know, that's a good thing. I had, like I said, I was up to 5 trucks. We had 2 brand new 589s, and I got them because, you know, trucking was doing pretty good. We were doing pretty good in trucking, and you talk to, the more opinions you get on, you know, new versus old equipment. And so I figured I'd just try it for myself. So we went out and got a brand new 589. First year they came out, it was a 2025 model. And so I bought it late 24, and we ran it on an end dump for quite a while. Liked it, liked the truck. I, you know, spec'd it with a 13-speed and a Cummins motor, and liked it so much we bought a second one and spec'd that one, basically the same thing, but it had an 18-speed, a little bit different gearing. Sweet trucks, real super comfortable. You know, we didn't really have them long enough to figure out, you know, the maintenance versus these old trucks. Obviously we had payments on those, and these we don't. You know, business was going good, and then it kind of hit where, you know, in our area at least, is pretty good slowdown. I'd say kind of start of 25 towards middle of 25, and so we actually took that opportunity to get out of trucking, and I was lucky enough to get rid of my 2 589s, and didn't completely lose my ass on them, so that's good. And got rid of those, and now I've just got, like I say, the 3 that I have and are paid for, and we're looking at actually getting rid of probably those 2 and hanging on to my Peterbilt, because this is my favorite truck. I really like this truck. Same year as me, it's a 96, and it's got the 3406E cat, and we've done, like I said, everything to this truck. So the only thing it needs now is a hood and a little bit of body work and paint. So but anyway, you know, I kind of got to a point where I was really getting tired of the maintenance. Just, I mean, new trucks, old trucks, I mean, we're always constantly doing tires. You know, every Saturday, sometimes Sundays, I'd be out wrenching on the trucks just to get them ready for Monday morning. And you know, it really just kind of took a toll, and was really wearing me out. I did have a part-time mechanic, but once again, trucks don't typically break down, you know, when it's the perfect time for you to fix them. So it ends up being after-hours stuff a lot of the times, and you know, or just dropping what you're doing to go rescue a truck, go fix a flat, something like that, especially when you're running asphalt. So you can definitely make money in trucking, and we did, but you can also lose money too. So you know, that's, like I say, we've got the fabrication business going too, and it's doing great. So realistically, I just kind of made that decision to funnel my focus more to fabrication instead of splitting my focus. And so far, I've really been quite a bit happier, a lot less stress for me to not be overseeing 2 different businesses. So pretty happy with that. Like I say, still keeping at least a truck, and we're really not looking to pick up any dirt work or anything like that anymore. But you know, we'll move equipment around a little bit here and there. Obviously, you know, move my own stuff, and then we'll, you know, haul steel and haul our finished products and stuff. We're doing some flatbed work for the fabrication side. So yeah, that's kind of what I got there. We got out of trucking as far as the the dirt work side of it. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about, what I think you need to do to be successful in the dump truck business, or just, moving dirt business, I suppose. And I guess it would apply to a lot of the different trucking businesses and revenues and avenues that you can get into. But, good drivers, like if you're going to be an owner op, that's one thing. And that's, almost the way that I would recommend most of you guys go, at least the people who are reaching out. That's kind of what I've been telling them. But, if you want to grow it bigger, you kind of got to realize that there's a pretty good hump or a bridge that you got to cross between, being your own owner operator and then running more than one truck. And profit wise, it almost seems like you need to run more, multiple trucks, like get up into the 4 or 5 trucks before, I'd say 3 or more trucks before it's actually profitable, or you feel that difference. But like I say, it's a lot of work. So, good drivers, driver can make or break you. And, I've experienced that, both good and bad. So had quite a few different drivers over the last couple years, doing the trucking stuff. And, like I say, they can make or break you. So, having a driver that's going to actually come in and do a pre-trip. I know a lot of guys laugh about doing a pre-trip, but I always required it. And, if I ever saw it, it was a definite pain, when drivers weren't doing pre-trips, because, simple stuff like a flat tire, low tire, an easy leak, air leaks, anything like that. A lot of times you can fix, if you can catch it before it's a major problem, you can fix it right away, and it's a lot less expensive fix. Like with a tire, it might be a matter of, patching a tire versus fixing a blowout. And, that's an example I'll pull right from my book is, doing that. We could have patched a trailer tire, driver left, and had a blowout same day, and he was about 5 hours from the shop. So, not a whole lot of fun. And I will tell you, when your truck breaks down, it's not going to be in an ideal spot. From my experience, 90% of the time they break down in the furthest possible spot that they can get away from you. So, but having a good driver that's, that's not pushing your truck, not flooring your truck all the time, beating the crap out of it, overheating it, stuff like that. And that's, I personally think good drivers are hard to find. That'd be the number one thing. If you're going to do more than just yourself, try and find somebody that's a good driver, watch over them. I know a lot of drivers don't like, a camera in their face. We never did that. But, I understand why companies put GPS tracking and cameras in faces. I'll just put it that way, because we've had our issues, and, I'll just leave it at that. But, second thing I would have to say would be a good maintenance program. Whether you're doing it yourself or you've got a mechanic, if you're gonna do it yourself, that's kind of what I recommend. Personally, I wouldn't have made what I've made with trucking had I not been willing to do most of the work myself and wrench on it myself, wrench on it after hours, stuff like that. If you want to go the mechanic route, make sure you've got a good mechanic. Talk to the guys around you in the area, and make sure that mechanic's reputable and is gonna do a good job for you and do it right. I kind of like to call them farmer fixes, but there are quite a few mechanics that'll like to do a farmer fix where it just kind of puts a Band-Aid on it, gets you down the road, and it ends up hurting you long run. So I've always been the type, fix it right the first time, and that's what I like to do. It's worked good for me. So, but having a good maintenance program, changing your oils, your fluids, all your filters, watching your tires. We ended up running tire pressure monitors on a lot of our trucks, just so you don't got to go, like, I understand it's a pain in the ass to go thump 18 tires or put a gauge on 18 tires every single day. Invest in a monitor. I think they're worth the money, and it's a heck of a lot easier. So, but yeah, having a good maintenance program, I think is key. And then I would say with the work, like, make sure you guys are going out, if you're going out and just getting into the dump truck business, you know, go out, talk to the pits, talk to the other drivers, like make sure there's a need in the area. If you go back and watch the video that I did of, you know, why I got into the dump truck business, a lot of that I'm talking about, you know, there's just a need for it in the area. You know, I couldn't get materials myself for the side work I was doing with skid steer and excavator stuff. And, you know, you call the pits, you couldn't get material for, you know, 2-3 weeks sometimes. So, and like I kind of say in that video, you go out, you talk to the pits, talk to the competitors, talk to, you know, the contractors, stuff like that, and get a good feel for if it's needed, because a lot of times the market gets flooded and there's too many trucks and you're just going to be sitting waiting. And these trucks, like I say, they are very expensive when they sit. Give you an example, this truck right here behind me, I pay like $800-900 a month in insurance to insure it. So, and we've got pretty clean records. I mean, myself and my other driver were younger, but we both got clean records, and it's expensive. So same thing with fuel. And that kind of leads me into my next tip my next tip would be making sure that you guys, you know, I've seen it several times with guys that have talked to me and asked about getting in the dump truck business, and I'm all for it. Like, please reach out to me if you have any questions. I have no problems helping guys out. It's actually fun to me to just kind of share my experience and stuff like that. But a lot of the guys I've talked to, you know, they want to go out, they got the money to buy a truck, finance it, whatever, with down payments, and, you know, get their initial paperwork going. And it's my personal opinion that a lot of these guys cut themselves short. And what I mean by that is just cash in the bank on hand. A lot of the jobs that we ran, like this last job that we ran, hauling riprap, I mean, a lot of times they weren't paying for 60 days, 90 days. So if you can't afford, you know, $1,200 to $1,500 a week in fuel, and that's just fuel alone, let alone your own bills or anything that breaks down, all of that type of stuff, you know, you need to make sure that you're preparing for that so you can make it to that first paycheck. On that job, there were constantly guys bitching about getting paid and how long it takes. And they're like, well, shit, I can't, you know, I'm not gonna be able to run next week if I don't get a check in the mail. Don't do that to yourself. It's a huge stressor. And, you know, in my opinion, it's not worth it. Like, trucking can make you good money, but it is also very expensive. So make sure you are doing it correct. It's just my advice. You know, if you don't want to take my advice, that's great, but that's my experience. Like, this stuff is very expensive. Just stocking parts and oil, I mean, it's expensive stuff. You know, these trucks run pretty much 9 to 11 gallons, depending on the engine, of oil. That's pretty penny when you go to do an oil change. So just be aware of that. You know, same thing, tires, same thing, you're paying a mechanic. A lot of mechanics are running $125 to $175 an hour. You take it to the big shops like Rush Truck Center's like $250 a shop hour. It's just not worth it. You're not gonna be able to pay that. So, so yeah, make sure that you've got those costs figured out. And when you think you have enough, get more, put more in there, save a little bit more. You'll thank yourself later. You know, you put that together with having the work lined out ahead of time, and I think you'll set yourself up for success rather than failure. So in closing, I'll be working on doing some more videos for the channel, but they're more than likely going to be, you know, still some trucking stuff, like when I'm moving equipment around for buddies or whatnot. And then, you know, for us, of course, but I'll probably do a little bit more on the fabrication side, maybe take you guys along in my daily routines and the stuff that I handle on a daily basis. Maybe give you guys some fabrication type videos. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to my dad a little bit about maybe doing some videos on some of the tractors that he and I restore together. So, I guess bottom line, if you guys see something or, you know, have ideas or just questions, please ask, please leave them in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see. And I'd be more than happy to do my best to try and make some videos and, you know, kind of have them be around the topic that you guys are interested in. So appreciate everybody watching, and if you have any questions, like I say, please comment and like and subscribe. Thanks.